Reddit, what things have you learned about a friend that suddenly made you despise him? Friend of 10 years hangs out with myself, my girlfriend, and another mutual friend. Afterwards, he starts texting my girlfriend saying that she's cute and that they should frick behind my back. Instantly cut him out of my life. Tell him to frick himself after he says that it was that was sketchy. I saw everything that had been said, and it was very one-sided. I was in a serious wreck and was hospitalized for a month when I was 19. During this time I had given my 27-year-old sister my bills and debit card so she could pay them since I was unable to. My parents were too consumed with looking after me to be able to handle my finances at the time. She decided to help herself to about $1,000 of my hard-earned money that I'd saved up for college by working full-time, while I was bedridden in a hospital and unaware of whether I'd walk again. She might still be my sister, but I definitely don't consider her my friend anymore. When I realized that my 25-year-old friend referring to herself constantly as a princess was not endearing and cute. Since that day she has just seemed like an immature, entitled brat. I have a severe stutter and it's always hard for me to make friends because of it. Luckily I had a really good friend. She never got impatient or mocked me. Right? Wrong? I'm normally very quiet and when in a group of people it's easy for people to forget I'm there. My friend, we'll call her Julie, had a small get together at her house. During dinner, conversation was going on and someone asked my opinion on some random topic and I gave it, despite my stutter making it hard for me to say what I wanted. Later in the evening I was sitting in the living room, sipping my scotch while Julie and some other guests were mingling in the kitchen. Someone casually mentions me in conversation and I hear Julie say, "Ugh, why did you ask her that question? I can't stand it when she stutters everything. Like, just shut up and let the normal people talk." I sat there and listened to them laugh and make Porky Pig jokes and grew more and more hurt and angry. Someone said something alluding to my stutter meaning I was less intelligent and how Julie was such a good person for tolerating me. I got up, walked into the kitchen and they stood there with a look of horror on their faces. Julie softly said, "Oh God, I thought you left." I left immediately and haven't spoken to her since. Dang, that's rough. I've dropped a lot of friends because I overheard them talking about me. Hope you're over them. She stole over $200 in cash and thousands of dollars worth of jewelry from my grandmother's house when I had invited her down for a vacation. Jesus Christ, Marie. I have a friend who is known to be stingy. You can't split a bill with her at a restaurant because any way you do it, it's wrong. She bought her girlfriend a pair of sunglasses, and when she gave them to her she said, "I only got you these because they're buy one get one free and I got one for myself." Don't ask me why they're still together. She has a well-paying job, a car, and her parents paid for college. There is no absolute necessary reason for her to be this way. She just is. The real kicker where I discovered how much of a real piece of crap she is was the day I found out that, for her entire college career, she scammed her parents into both paying for her apartment so she could pocket the extra money. Her parents are divorced. She would call her mom up and ask for that month's rent money plus some other expenses. Then she'd call her dad and do the exact same thing. She knew they did not communicate with each other about her college expenses because she would ask when she needed money. Her parents are financially sound but not rich by any means, but they provide for their family. I have no respect for that friend anymore. Side story, her mom sent her a Hallmark card for Halloween with a nice note, and her exact words after reading it were, "I'm going to have to call her. There's no money in this card." Abuses a dog. Didn't feed him for over a week because she couldn't afford dog food, then beat him for stealing people food. Never ran out of cigarettes though. My husband and I went out with my brother-in-law and his wife, and another friend, to a Japanese teppanyaki restaurant. We started the meal with a huge platter of sushi, about $20 by itself, and then enjoyed the regular grilled meal with the flaming onion volcano, the egg flip, etc. At the end of the meal, the server brings the bill and we all look at it to start figuring out who owes what. I notice that the sushi platter's not listed on the bill, and mention that we should let the server know. My sister-in-law gets really mad at this, saying that if the server made the mistake, then he should have to deal with it and we should enjoy our free sushi. When I was younger, though, I had worked as a waitress, and we always had to pay for our mistakes or complaints. If this had been a small priced item, I might not have worried about it much, but $20 off a server's tips wages seemed like a lot to me. So my husband and I reminded the server about the sushi. He was glad to know and went off to have the bill retotaled. My sister-in-law was P and basically told us we would have to pay their share. B. So, the owner manager then comes to our table. He's heard that we were very helpful to our server, who happened to be his nephew on his first night, to thank us for being so considerate. There's no charge for the sushi, and he offers us all a round of drinks on him. At this news, while we're all thanking him, my sister-in-law pipes up, "Oh, it was nothing. We're just happy to help out." She didn't say another word as she drank her free martini. B. I had a good friend with a really sweet girlfriend he has been with for years. He asked me to drive him to his other girlfriend's house one night. Please tell me you told that poor girl what he was doing. Preferably both, if the other girl didn't know. It's sad when both girls think they have a great guy. I was once at a club with a guy I had known for about 6 months at college, and our respective girlfriends. We were quite a close group and he seemed like the most genuine guy you could know. Anyway, he gets into an argument with his girl and they both go outside to settle it in privacy. Kinda killed the mood, but I thought little of it. He came back to say that his girlfriend had gone home in a bad mood and they had essentially broken up. I remember he slyly said something like she lost her looks now anyway. A few days later I ran into his girlfriend and she had a swollen lip and a black eye. Never talked to that scumbag again. Guy I know, married once, wife cheated on him early on and they get divorced. A few years pass, he's married again and he's very successful in life, runs a company, has big house, nice cars, all the good things, except his second wife has become a total B. He developed a drinking problem, because in addition to being a total B and a raging alcoholic herself, she's cut him off sexually because they already have kids. Then of course come to find out she's cheating on him. After years of grief with his own drinking, family help and rehab, he sobers up and divorces her. An old flame, the one that got away 30 years ago, comes back into his life and they get married. All seems well and good and he's finally happy. Hooray for them. A few years later he starts drinking again and he starts cheating on his wife. Claims she's not an equal partner because he's rich and successful and she's just a school teacher. Butthole is now divorced again. The saddest part of that though, is that guy is my brother. The old flame was a family friend and my sister's BFF. I can't believe it took me so long to realize, but one of my good friends growing up, I can't stand to go out to eat with him because he acts like an entitled jerk to the waitstaff before they even have a chance to talk. He does stuff like assumes the server is stupid and explains how to do their job to them before they even start. Will make fun of them over petty things and then even if the service is good he'll still lecture them on how to serve properly. It's so embarrassing and I finally figured out where he got it from. His dad. My parents and I ate with his dad about a year ago and he did the exact same routine. It really disappoints me that dang there's going to be multiple generations of shitty patrons in that family. It really does make cringe thinking out of their families they are going to look like asses every time they dine out and the embarrassment their wives face. In conclusion, never be a dong to your server. Not only is it rude to them but embarrasses the crap out of normal diners who made the mistake of inviting you out to eat. I found out a friend got drunk and tried to drive home. He hit and killed a man and a pregnant woman along the way. He never stopped. He dragged the bodies for over 100 yards. He went home, slept, came over the next morning with his murder vehicle and planned on going camping with us that day. He said he was planning on taking his car to another state to get it fixed so his parents wouldn't know about it. He murdered 2 people and was trying to get out of it. He left the house with his brother to turn himself in, but didn't actually go to the police station. We called the cops and told them everything. He has posted bond and is awaiting trial. Technically he hasn't been proven guilty in a court of law, but I saw a face print on his windshield. If you read this, Kurt, frick you. I had a buddy who was a bit of a train wreck. She kept falling madly in love with random jerks she would meet on Plenty-Fish or wherever she was trolling. I kept making excuses for her. Oh, she's just trying to meet someone nice. She's just very easily attached. One day she calls me up, freaking out because some random d-bag that she slept with on the first date won't answer her calls. She asks, should I tell him that I'm pregnant? My reply, wait, What? No. Are you? No, but we didn't use a condom, so I could be. I just want him to answer me. You didn't? But, no. Just, no. Number. No. Number. Everything is no. Went over to a buddy's house to play some cards. The guy mentioned in an offhand sort of way how he hated his wife's dog. He said he put it out front and beat the heck out of it with a broom to make sure it ran away. Then the sucker laughed. I wouldn't have ever called him a friend, but I had a long-time acquaintance in high school that pulled some balls. We were in a class with an amazingly nice, always helpful, and just all around awesome teacher, whose husband had recently passed from cancer, and she was selling baked goods to raise money for a cancer drive. The acquaintance of mine didn't have money but wanted some food, and I had money and didn't want any, so I lent him a few bucks. He goes up to the crowd of people buying items, and comes back with 3 bags of cookies, and hands me my money back. I just looked up at him confused, and he just grinned hugely, and wagged his fingers, saying 5-finger discount, and then started laughing. Sure, 3 bags of cookies wasn't a big deal, but I've never been more disgusted with a person. I paid the teacher the money she was supposed to have, and also told the guy's girlfriend what he did. Realizing I was P, he then spread a rumor that I was trying to spread a rumor about him, to cover his own ass. I never really did anything other than just pay the teacher back, but I guess that he was scared of the social stigma that me telling the story could have, and acted preemptively. Realizing I was P, he then spread a rumor that I was trying to spread a rumor about him, to cover his own ass. High school. My maid of honor threatened to quit my wedding and alienate me from her friends because I refused to pay $600 to fly her daughter home for the big day. I politely, initially, said no, that wasn't possible. She persisted and listed all her money problems. She and her husband make at least $160,000 a year, have 2 kids and are just fine. That included paying for the new car they just bought her aforementioned daughter. I less than politely refused and said I didn't appreciate the guilt trip. She exploded and couldn't believe I was saying no to her. Frick that nonsense. So much for mature, meaningful relationships. I never knew she was that shallow or manipulative. A girl I used to date, who is now in a relationship with a mutual friend, gets too drunk. One night she, without warning, kicked her boyfriend in the groin so hard that he doubled over. She then kicked him again in the chest. He ran out the door and back to his place, while she loudly announced to everyone at the party that she didn't give a crap, then left with some friends for a different party. A few days later I saw her again. She, probably not even remembering what had happened, gave me a hug. Coldest hug I can ever remember. Domestic abuse is not okay. Holy shit, I hope her boyfriend dumped her. A few years ago I was in the passenger seat of my friend's car when he hit someone in a crosswalk. He didn't want to stop, but I yelled at him till he eventually pulled over. When we went back to see if the guy was okay, the guy said he thought he should go to a hospital. I took my cell out and called an ambulance while my friend was talking to the guy. When the guy asked what my friend's name was, he looked at me, looked back at the guy and gave him a false freaking name. Right after I called the ambulance I also called the cops. I never spoke to him again after that incident. A group of friends I had loved to go out to lunch, yoga, bars, etc. Everything they did required spending, their parents, money. I frequently turned down their invitations to go out since my budget could not handle that kind of spending. Plus, I was trying to pay my own way through school. Well, one day, they sat me down and said that I should stop spending so much money on food and get my parents to pay for things. I was also told to try harder at picking up another job so I could afford their lifestyle. I already had 2 part-time jobs and went to college full-time. They stopped speaking to me not too long after. I had a friend who liked to key cars and told me, frick that bee. You have been visited by the blanket pig. Upvote for good night's sleep for the next lunar year. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.